Hello and welcome to our Black History Month special. I'm Gloria Walker. During February, 12 News explored African American culture here in Southeast Texas and highlighted some truly beautiful stories. We want to start by highlighting Javon Pollard. She broke barriers as the first woman to become a constable in Jefferson County Precinct 1. Not just that, Constable Pollard is the first African American woman to hold that position. 12 News reporter Ebony Coleman sat down with Constable Pollard to learn about the woman behind the badge.
Words of modesty coming from Constable Javon Pollard. She's the first and only Black female constable who's held the office of Jefferson County Precinct 1.
When it's happening, you don't realize that you're making history. You're just seeking to serve on a higher level.
Constable Pollard says she's been working in law enforcement for 22 years, and it runs in her family.
My dad was a deputy in Orleans Parish in Louisiana. I was a daddy's girl, wanted to get into law enforcement.
And when she puts on that uniform every day, her goal always remains the same.
An average day for me is answering the phone quite a bit, interacting with the community quite a bit. Most constables, some of them serve their papers, some of them do not. I love to serve.
When she's not serving the public, she's breaking down barriers. In her office, women have been elected to the top. Jennifer Vogel is her chief deputy.
It's always exciting to be the first, if you can be. And for us, when we were elected in 2018, she and I became the first 1-2 duo that was female, 2 women of color to do that.
She says she hopes she can continue to be the best role model to those looking up to her.
There's so much rich Black history in Jefferson County, and I'm just a small piece of that, landscape and a small piece of that puzzle. I hope that I'm doing a good job of being a steward of the votes that was given to me and the position that I'm entrusted in.
Now, Constable Pollard says she isn't planning to go anywhere anytime soon. She plans on running again for that same position when her term is up in 2024. Now, from one trailblazer in law enforcement to another, Captain Onofre Tyler is the first Black captain in the history of Beaumont Police Department. Tyler has served the department for 18 years, and he isn't the only one who has made law enforcement history in Southeast Texas. As 12 News anchor Letitia Kaye explains, it's a family trait.
When your destiny calls,
I didn't always want to be a cop growing up. It was something that grew on me.
you answer.
I've only been here 18 years.
Criminal Investigations Captain Onofre Tyler is not the first in his family to wear a badge.
My dad was hired on in the 70s, I believe 76, and he worked 35 plus years within the department. He achieved the rank of lieutenant. He was actually the first Black lieutenant promoted within the department.
But he is in a long line of firsts.
I've been blessed, not only my father, but my uncle. John Tyler was the first Black police chief in Port Arthur.
To make an impact in the communities they serve.
Those 2 men have inspired me to enter law enforcement. It was my goal when I hired on with the department to promote to the rank of captain. I never thought that I would be the first Black.
After making lateral moves into 3 different divisions within the Beaumont Police Department, he finally achieved that goal.
It feels good. It felt like it's been a long time coming.
And though those in his family set examples for him, it still wasn't easy.
Anybody that has taken a promotional exam at any rank or grade can attest that it's a challenging and process. It's demanding, it's time consuming, so to finally accomplish it, it means a lot.
Though he can now check captain off his list of accomplishments, he still looks to be challenged daily.
Some jobs can be deemed a little bit more challenging than others, but I've always liked the challenge of learning new things and try to pick up and expand my knowledge as much as I can within the department.
That was Letitia Kaye reporting. Tyler now oversees the entire Criminal Investigations Division.
I would say start now. It starts with us. We always talk about the future, the future, the future. Well, the future is now.
Taylor Getwood is the youngest Port Arthur School Board member ever, a reminder that you're never too young to get involved. He was only 18 when he was elected after graduating from Woodrow Wilson Early College High School in 2020. 18-year-old Getwood knew he wanted to make a difference, so he ran for school board and won. Right now, Taylor Getwood is the youngest PAISD school board trustee at just 20 years old, but when he was elected to the position in 2021, he had just graduated from high school a few months before running, but understanding what changes the district faces. Getwood believes his age gives him an advantage, offering a different perspective on the board.
That was another thought process that I had as well. If we don't, as youth, start assuming these positions now, when it's our turn, how is it going to look? Will we know what to do? Will we know how to actually conduct a meeting? Will we know how to advance and move a district forward? So age is nothing but a number.
Getwood wants all young people running for leadership positions to know that as youth, we do not know everything. So keep an open mind and learn from others as you grow. Black History Month meets Power City, a civil engineer retired after 3 decades at Chevron Phillips, but her work is not done yet. She now serves as the chair of Golden Triangle's Texas Alliance for Minorities in Engineering. As Cameron Seibert reports, she's using her experience to inspire the next generation of engineers in Southeast Texas.
From a little kid, I pretty much knew I was going into science.
Annie Carter is many things: a scientist, leader, and creator, but most of all, a trailblazer.
If you're in a career where it's dominated by one gender or the other, it's sort of how you handle it.
In 1980, Carter became the first African-American female to earn a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering at Texas A&M University.
There's nothing about engineering or science or technology that says it's a male career. So we program ourselves, we program our children to think it is. I was 100% comfortable working in that area.
She proved her comfort quickly, earning a job at Gulf in Port Arthur right out of college and climbing the ladder at Chevron Phillips. Carter started in maintenance before becoming a manager, eventually leading teams on multi-million-dollar projects.
Whether you were a female or what the ethnic background, if you could deliver on the work, then you got the jobs.
But perhaps her most meaningful work has not been at refineries or chemical plants, but in classrooms and convention centers.
And why did you choose to take your sticks and put them through like this?
Just in case something.
No, it's a good idea.
For over 30 years, Carter has worked with the Golden Triangle for the Texas Alliance for Minorities in Engineering, or TAME. She's now the chair of the board.
Mainly because there are not enough children who are first generation, children of color, females that feel comfortable in the workspace. So if they get introduced to it, hopefully at an early age, it knocks down a lot of barriers.
TAME teaches minority students science, technology, engineering, and math in fun ways. The lessons inspire and prepare.
It's just so important to help close that gap. If you can make a difference for one child, you've done good.
Carter has made a difference for thousands of children.
We interview them for jobs. When you see them as professors on college campuses, when you see them owners of businesses, and so you begin to check off those boxes. Yes, you made a difference.
Nothing inspires a child quite like a first-hand example of how the hard work pays off. In Beaumont, Cameron Seibert, 12 News.
Next, the man behind a podcast sharing Beaumont's rich history, the values, life skills, and advice he's offering. Plus, a Beaumont artist shares how his past has inspired the art he's creating today.
Brought to you by BISD, preparing our next generation.
A Beaumont man has made it his mission to document the stories of Black people and leaders in Southeast Texas. Tony Renfro was born and raised here, and he remembers being a part of desegregation in the 50s. Now he's connecting the community through his knowledge, is Power Podcast Live. The podcast discusses everything from voting rights to our famous Southeast Texas chefs. He's even highlighted Beaumont Mayor Robin Mouton and City Manager Kenneth Williams about the growth of our area. Renfro says Black history was not taught in schools, and it's up to the community to pass all that knowledge on to the youth.
How to increase your credit, how to grow your credit. I had experts to come on and talk about credit, how to prepare for a home, how to buy a home. I've had realtors on here. I've had the mayor on here.
The podcast live streams on most major platforms, some including Apple Podcasts, Facebook, and Spotify. Podcasting isn't the only storytelling. One Beaumont artist tells stories through his passion-filled paintings. Wayne Goodman found a way to honor those who came before him and those he grew up with. All through his art, 12 News anchor Letitia Cahey shows us how he's keeping history alive through art.
It's a long, long story.
Of how one man, Wayne Goodman, at age 60,
Never thought it'd be like this.
decided to be a historian through art.
I certainly deal with history quite a bit. And I deal with even personal history.
Weaving them both together like the material that frames his art.
Mudcloth comes in this particular color, which is black and beige. Certainly it's an African print.
He now has many paintings
This is titled Picking Cotton.
that drapes the halls of galleries from the Art Studio in Beaumont to the Red Bud Gallery in Houston.
It's still amazing, shocking, you know. And it's got me just to, you know, think bigger, I guess.
It all started
12 years ago with a number of little girls in particular. And we are sitting on the floor doing images, and I actually finished one image, and the child, she said, "Uncle Wayne, I want you to draw an image of with nothing but little girls."
Some of his paintings now reflect his memories growing up.
I'm from the south end of town. The image is produced in the form of a newspaper headline. So this is the South End Free Press. It was certainly an isolated, it was segregated.
And the people who remind him of the struggle.
One of the most profound people in our history is Harriet Tubman.
Continue to be honored and remembered with each stroke of his paintbrush.
One of my favorite poems by Langston Hughes is Winter Sweetness, and it goes like this. The little house is sugar, with snow its roof is piled, and from its tiny window peeps a maple sugar child.
Just as he has been inspired, he hopes to inspire people to dig deeper.
One thing about people, we don't read like we used to, and reading is critical, right? And so I intend to really inspire people to, who is this person? You know, let me dig a little bit deeper and find out a little bit more, because, you know, history certainly is best qualified to teach.
Goodman's end goal is to write children's books, and he has already been involved encouraging that next generation. He's volunteering at the Children's Museum. The museum duplicates his images in black and white and then allows the children to color and paint them to help tell their own stories. Next, hear the impressive voice of Port Arthur opera singer who's traveled the world sharing his gift.
Brought to you by BISD, preparing our next generation.
But old man River, he just keeps rolling alone.
Well, that was beautiful. You just heard the voice of Richard Perkins of Port Arthur. He's a classically trained opera singer. He's traveled the world sharing his gift with anyone who will listen. I had the pleasure to sit down with the well-known singer, and he explains how he was able to use his passion to get onto the world's stages.
I'm tired of living, but scared of dying.
Some people are just born with a gift. Singing is Richard Perkins' gift. From a young age, music filled his life in Port Arthur.
I'm educated here in Port Arthur. I'm a Lincoln High School graduate, 1964. I went on to Prairie View and got the first performance degree.
During his time at Prairie View A&M, Perkins had the opportunity to perform for a change maker in the civil rights movement.
We were called to the conductor's room and told that there was someone in the hotel that wanted to hear us sing. So they ushered us all into this little small living space where Martin Luther King and Ralph Abernathy and Andrew Young and a couple of others was obviously talking and meeting.
A start to a long and prosperous career. After college, Perkins traveled to Italy and Germany to study bel canto singing, where he would star in operas and won many awards.
An award that the Colorado Rockies baseball team gave me to sing the national anthem.
A big inspiration in his life was the music of Paul Robeson, which led him to dedicate programs and concerts to his music and ideas.
Robeson was one of those that preceded Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King and some of the other advocates of civil rights.
Perkins held a free concert early February. I got the chance to attend that show, and it's a moment that makes me proud to witness our local talent shine. And up next, celebrating soul food, how leftovers of the past became a staple for good Southern eating.
Brought to you by BISD, preparing our next generation.
Now this next one may make your stomach growl. We're taking a look at the history of soul food. 12 News reporter Cladra Rhodes visited an Orange County woman's house to find out how African-American slaves turned unwanted scraps into Southern cuisine.
They didn't want that. Well, y'all can have it or y'all throw it away or whatever. Throw it away. Baby, we was eating high on the horse. We was eating good.
Beginning in slavery days, recipes passed down from generation to generation.
We had a wooden stove, and she had them to build a little stand for me to stand on so I could watch her cook on this black iron stove.
Began with the most undesirable parts of food.
They didn't eat pig feet. The master didn't, and his family. They didn't want the head. We used to make hog head cheese with the hog. That's all we had was hog.
By working with the scraps given to them, sometimes as payment, at other times to just throw away, black slaves created what we now know as soul food. Not necessarily standard Southern dishes like good old fried chicken and collard greens, but beef tripe, beans, hot water cornbread, and the list goes on.
We had oysters. I don't know how my grandmother got that man oysters, but she got them. And we had shrimp, and we used to go catch crawfish with our hands, right at the river. Just with our hands. We ain't had no pole or nothing. We knew how to make do with what we had. And when we made do, everybody wanted a taste.
And to this day, so many people enjoy this real Southern cooking.
They didn't want they didn't want nothing but the best. And we got the leftovers. And now it looks like our leftovers is making history today.
Cladra Rhodes, 12 News.
And thank you so much for watching our special look at Black history here in Southeast Texas. Be sure to keep up with 12 News on air and online for the latest.
Find news in your neighborhood. Just look for the Near Me tab inside the 12 News Now app.